program. All right, let's do it. Well, I can't hear anybody else, but y'all can hear me. So that's a good start, I guess. My name's Jared Coker. I'm a software developer for Northop Grumman. And today we decided that we want to go ahead and build some robots. It's becoming a big thing nowadays, and it's one of the top 4, I think it was one of the top 4 most wanted things for the Huntsville Science Fair, from what I remember somebody telling me. So, of course, Northrop and all sorts of other contractors are working on all sorts of robotic type things. So I figured we'd start off today with something a little bit fun. So everybody, if you're following along with me, I just kind of want to explain the instruction manual just a little bit, because the instruction manual can be really confusing. So I'm going to hold mine up, and I hope everybody can kind of see where I'm at here. But here's the instruction manual. It comes in there. So first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and start. If we take a look, you'll kind of notice these steps here. They go in kind of an awkward order. So if you can kind of see my thing here, it'll start with 1, 2, and then it goes down to 3 here, and then it goes to 4 up here, and then to 5, and then it goes 6 and 7, and then it'll go 8, and then 9, and then it goes down to 10 here, and then 11's right there, and then 12, 13, and 14. So just to be clear, these robots can be a little bit of a stress because the instructions are laid out just a little bit funny. So to begin, let's go ahead and pull out both of our little kind of puzzle cards here. So we got, this one is going to be A, and then this one, of course, is going to be B. And so I would say the beginning might be the hardest part when we start this process, because we got to get the body put together. Getting the body put together seems to always be the hardest part for everybody. So we got our little engine here. It's a little wind-up engine. Kind of see it? Just wind it up. Nothing much to it. So one of the rules I would say when we're building these robots is we've got to make sure that we're lining it up with the picture. So I'm going to start. I'm going to get everybody kind of started. I don't want to do the whole thing for everybody, because then that's no fun. So we got these 2 pieces here. And so for the first step, the pieces that are required are B1, B2, and A3. So if we look at our instruction manual here, it kind of gives you a guideline on the B section there. So we got B1, which is these two top ones there. And then we got B2, which is that bottom middle one there, if you can kind of see it on the B section. And then we have A3, which A3 is going to be on the A section, and it's going to be the bottom middle one here as well. So if you guys can see me, it's going to be a little bit hard to see me probably, so just try and pay attention as best you can, because this is where it gets a little bit complicated. I'll move some stuff around here real quick. All right. So they were nice enough to give us a little pick here. And this little pick kind of helps you when you pop both of these guys out. You can go ahead and pop both of them out on the B section. So B1, go ahead and pop both. There's 2 B1s on your B section, on your B piece here. And what's really nice about these is what kind of is a little bit difficult, if you can kind of see here, but they give us this little pick here, because a lot of these have like little things you got to pick through. So there's 3 little sections on there, or about 4. So you just want to use that pick, and you can kind of see me here, and just try and, that's where it gets a little complicated. You just kind of pick those little things out. You're not going to need that. That's going to be garbage. You see how I picked that out? Now you can kind of see a hole. So there's that one, and then here's that one. You know, that little pick will help you kind of snap some things into place there. And that pick, just so you're clear, that little pick that you're going to need, it's going to be on the B section. It says AWL next to it. Go ahead and just punch that guy out of there. That's going to be really, really useful for when we're trying to kind of get this thing building. So one of the rules that we got to follow here, because this gets really, really complicated quick. On step 1, we really want to make sure that we line it up with the picture. So I'm talking like if you have if you build this step one, you want to make sure it looks exactly like the picture looks. So on step one, if you can see there, I'm gonna kind of hold it up for everybody. We want to make sure that when we build this, every step, that it lines up perfectly with how that picture looks. Otherwise, it'll get off and you got to start all the way over. So on step one, we are required to have B1, make sure here, B2, and A3. So let's go ahead and knock those guys out. So I got B1. Where am I at here? Okay. So this is B1. So we got one of these guys. Make sure if you have your pick, make sure to use this pick because it's going to really help to get those holes in there. That way you can push the parts of the robot through and get them locked into each spot. So we'll have B2, which B2 is going to be this bottom middle piece right here. All right. And then we're going to have A3. Is it A3? Yes, A3. So that's going to be this piece. I'm holding the A piece upside down. If you're looking at it this way, it's going to be this bottom piece right here. All right. Can everybody see me? All right, good deal. Now we're cooking. All right, now I can see myself on the big screen. I love it. Okay. So we got our first step here. So I'm looking at my first piece. If everybody's following along with me, try and take a look as best as you can. If you can't really see it, I'm sorry. I know my shirt's blending in with all the pieces, so that can be a little bit of a difficulty sometimes. But we gotta fight the adversity here. We're gonna build this robot. Okay, so if we're looking at our piece, let's take a look at what instruction 1 says. It looks like these two little knobs back here are facing us. So we want to have it looking just like the picture, just like that. So we want to make sure. Oh, I'm sorry. We want to make sure that you can kind of see that it's like, okay, I got the two knobs facing towards me. So make sure those two knobs are facing towards you and make it look exactly like the picture says it's supposed to look. So we're going to take B2 and we're going to stick it in that top kind of bigger notch up there at the top. Okay. Make sure you can kind of see that. Everybody following along? All right. I haven't heard any questions yet, I don't think. Joe, you'll have to tell me if I'm missing something here. Okay, so we got this piece here. So I'm gonna make sure it's facing you, make sure it lines up perfectly with the picture. Mine's lining up perfectly with the picture. I'm thinking, all right, I got something cooking here. Okay, so now we're gonna take A3 and we're just gonna stick that guy right between the circle and where we just put our B2 piece. So right here. Okay, so it should be looking like that. We good on questions? I just want to make sure nobody's lost or anything like that. If you guys have a question, just tell me, please. I'll be happy to help you. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to step number 2. So step 2 is going to be right next to this guy. Let me see here. It's going to be right next to step number 1. And remember, step 3 is going to be right here. So just remember, they like to trick you. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go to 4 is going to be at the top here, and then 5 is right there. So we're going to go in that order. So make sure we're following along. It can be really confusing. So if you get lost, ask a question. I'll be here to answer your questions. All right. So step 2 looks like we're going to be using B4. So if we pull out B4 right here, B4 is going to be this middle left one, or left for me. It might be right for you, depending on which side you're holding it on. But it's going to be this edge. It's going to be right up under the head here. So we just go ahead and poke that out. All right. And then all we got to do now is make sure we're following along. And then all you got to do is just kind of connect that right on there. Sometimes it's hard. You gotta have to jam it in there. I promise these little pieces are tough. So I really don't think you're going to break it. But some people do. You never know. All right. So I got mine in there. So we should be about right here right now. Okay. Make sure we don't have any questions or anything. All right, good deal. Okay, so we're off. We just finished step 2. So we should be looking like this, making sure it's looking like the picture. I think the picture's saying I'm looking just right. So I'm gonna keep going forward. If anybody has any questions, please just let me know. Like I said, I'm gonna get started here. And then I'm gonna try and finish out as much as I can. So we got step 3 coming up. We got to get the second B1. So remember, there was 2 B1s there. We want to get the second B1. So got to get this guy right here. So it's the same thing as the one we used before. It's just the twin version of that. And we're going to get that guy going. Okay, so step 3, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So y'all just bear with me here. This can be the hardest part, and sometimes I even get confused. So y'all pay attention as best as you can. Make sure we get this lined up. Okay. Make sure I'm on the right track here. Just a second, y'all. So if we have our engine here, right? So we're looking at our thing. We're like, okay, here's where the picture is. This is facing the back. I got my engine right here. So all I want to do is just press this through and scoot it back. And you'll see here in a minute how this is going to all line up and make a real complete sense. So we want the back piece, the twister of the engine, lined up perfectly with that little back piece. So it's kind of looking like this. So make sure that that back piece that we just put on right there, the engine's lined up so the twister of the engine is closest to the back piece. So if everybody can kind of see what I'm talking about here. I don't know. It's really hard to see. I apologize, y'all. But that's kind of how we want it to look right now. Everybody's kind of following along here. All right. So we're right there. So we got to go ahead and pick the pieces out of this guy. So let's do that real quick. I'm just going to pick these out. Make sure you use your picker. It helps. Believe me, you don't want to be trying to do that with your fingernails. That's really a struggle. So pick the little pieces out. Make sure we got the holes open so we can put our robotic parts there. All right. So we should be having B1 looking like this. Anybody got any questions? I'm checking my questions here. Okay, so we're good. We're good. We're getting there. All right. So now we got this guy here, just like we said. Make sure we're lined up with the picture. All right, we're about ready to go engage here. Okay, so now this is where it gets a little tricky, so y'all got to follow along here. I got confused just a second ago when I was building this before I even logged on, so this can be really tricky. So we want to have, I'm going to get it built real quick, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This part's even hard for me sometimes. I've been doing these for a while. You can ask Erica Hopkins. These are really tricky. Okay. I think I about got it here. All right. Looks like I got it. If you don't have it yet, that's okay. We'll get you caught up. If you're lost, we'll get you caught up. Okay. So now this is kind of what it's looking like. You see what we're talking about here? So I got the little rotor. He's kind of back here. I got the other 2 rotors sticking out the sides of it. Let me see if I can get everything kind of squeezed together here, make it look a little bit more pretty. All right. And then I got those 2 back pieces holding this guy together. So I got the rotor sticking out the side here. If everybody can kind of see that, take a look there. And you can take a look at the back right there. That's kind of how it's supposed to look. So if you're off, or maybe a lot of situations, what happens is somebody accidentally puts the rotor on the wrong side. They have the rotor flipped. You'll have to pull it out, retry it. It happens all the time. It takes just a few seconds. Pull it out, retry it, get back on track. You'll be right back with us. Here it is. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, great. All right. So now we're here. And then we're looking at step 5 now. Actually, I'm sorry, look, it already tricked me. So we're actually going to be at step 4. Step 4 is going to be right here, up at the top. I'll make sure to watch this because they'll get you, and it can be really difficult. if you're not following along. So this piece does not come on either A or B that we're going to need here. This piece is actually going to be this piece right here. It comes outside of the little puzzle. So if you can follow along here, if you're with me right now, we're working on this piece right here. Now this one doesn't always stick. Sometimes it'll kind of like at the bottom, it might hang out. That's okay. It's not going to affect the robot. It may affect the look of it, but this one can be a little bit difficult sometimes. So just if you can bear with me, try and push this guy on there. So we're looking at step 4. All we got to do is just snap this guy right on the front here. Yep, just like that. And now we got our robot. Let me see here. There we go. Robot's kind of looking like that now. So we got his body built. So if you're following along right now, if you can kind of hear me out, I got the body built here, which is pretty much, I would say, the hardest part. The legs will be a little difficult. So, but you know, if you got to this point, you're doing great. You're almost there. You know, you got a pretty cool looking robot. You know, you got his body put together at least. So we got this piece here. And now we're kind of like, all right, you know, it's like, where's the legs? Where's everything else? I'm ready to get this thing finished. So we're almost done. We're getting closer. So if you're with me right now, we're here. And now we're going to be looking at step 5. So step 5, that's going to be right here on the instruction manual. If you can see, I know it might be backwards from where I'm standing, but step 5. So if you're looking at the instruction manual, there's the top. Step 5 is going to be right here. This is a pretty easy step. So all we need is one piece for this. And so we're looking at piece A6. A6, well, let me see if I can find my, there it is. Okay. All right, so A6. So we got our body here. All we got to do, this piece is going to be facing this way. All we got to do is just stack this guy right on top there. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, all we're doing is just stacking that guy right on top there. Is that crooked? Nah, he looks good. All we got, now you'll be looking like this, okay? It's a little crooked. Sorry about that. Everybody can see it'll be looking like that. Nothing to that step. It's a pretty easy step. Okay, so here we go. We're moving on to the legs now. So let's take a look here. So we got our A panel and then we got our B panel. Should be here. So we're looking at going to be pieces A7 and A8. So A7 is going to be right here. Everybody's following along. Take a look at your panel. Both A7 is going to be right there, both of them. So there's two A7s. So we're going to be looking right here. Going to be right there and right there. So if everybody's following along with me, we're going to pull these guys out. Okay. So we got both of our pieces here. That's what they're going to look like. All right, so if you're following along, if you're with me, we're at step, if you just joined, we're at step A6. It's going to be in this bottom left-hand corner for me, and in this case, it might be the right-hand corner on your screen. So I actually just dropped my pick. I got to grab it. So let's go ahead and pull our pick out. This is going to be helpful for pushing these little edges out, kind of help us get the puzzle put together here. So we're going to pick up the top. There's a top part right there, and then there's a really small, like kind of pin-size hole right here. You kind of see it on my screen. It's about right there. We got to pick out both of those real quick. So I got that one picked out. And then this little pin size hole, this one can be really, really difficult. So don't stress yourself out too much with it. Try your best to pick it out. If you need maybe to go grab a pin or something, that can help too. Something a little bit smaller to kind of push that guy out of there. All right. So I think I got him here. I got these big hands, so it's a little bit harder for me. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing for the other leg now. I apologize if you guys can't really see everything. I'm trying my best here. I got a little bit of room, so I'm gonna push this guy out here. top one's out, and then let me see if I can push this guy out. Okay, I think I got it. Great. That can be a pain. So if you got that, great job. So we got 2 of them now. We got everything picked out. So looking like some pretty good robot legs there for you. All right, so let's take a look at what step 6 says to do. So we need 2 other pieces as well for this. It's going to be A8 and A9. So if we're looking at our, where am I at here? Okay. So A8 and A9. So 8 is going to be these guys, and then 9 is going to be these guys. So 8s, all the A8s are right here. These are A8s, and then we got A9 right there. So go ahead and push these guys out. These are going to be our feet. Make sure we line up everything perfectly with what the picture says on the instruction manual, because believe me, that will trick you up. Okay. So we got the feet. All right. So now we got our feet and we got all our 2 legs. So if everybody can kind of see here, I'm going to try to explain how to put the feet on, because this also can be just a tad bit confusing. So if everybody would just bear with me here. So let's take this first one here. Let's line it up perfectly with what A6 says to do. And we're going to put the feet on with this little, so the little notch right there, you can kind of see it. In this case, we want to have the feet, if you have the notch facing towards you, you want the shorter end, the small end, so that notch, this notch here, is going to be facing you. You want to have the shorter, the little skinnier part of the feet going inward. So it'll look like this. I'll show you here in a minute. You'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So there is one leg right there. So you see how the notch is going to be facing towards me, and then I have the 2 feet kind of looking like that. So take that notch backwards and have it facing towards me, just like that. Now for the other one, drop my piece. Where did it go? Give me just a second here, guys. I think I might have dropped one. Nope. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing again with the other guy. So we're going to have the notch facing towards me. So this is going to be his left leg. In my case, you could have already done the left leg. You might be doing the right leg now, but just make sure that notch is facing towards you and the smaller end of the feet are going inward. So we got this kind of connecting to the bottom here. And we got this guy connected right here. So we're looking pretty good. I got both of my feet. One of them is going to have them facing inward this way. Make sure that notch is facing towards you and having the feet going that way. Make sure the notch is facing towards you, and then it should be looking like that. So when they're together, they'll be able to kind of walk around each other. You can kind of see here, they'll kind of walk around each other like that. So we're almost there. We're getting closer, guys. So we're at A6. All right, so we're moving on to, oh, we got one more piece here to do on 6. I forgot. This one can be a little tricky, and the hard part about this is these guys will fall off, but don't be too upset. They don't have too much of an effect on the robot. It's just kind of for looks. So for here, we got this guy rolling. We're going to pop these guys out. All right. So if we look at our picture here, we got, let's say we're going to do the right leg here. We want the end of it kind of facing outward, so the longer end facing outward when we put this on. So if you look at mine, this would be the right leg. You can kind of tell that the longer side of that top piece here is facing outward, so away from the body. That's kind of how it's supposed to look. Here's another kind of horizontal view, I guess. Here's a little bird's eye view, if that makes it a little bit easier for everybody to see. It's kind of looking like that. The ends of the feet are going to be facing inward, and we got it looking this way. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. All right. So look at that. Now we got the robot legs. It's kind of how they're supposed to look. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. Here's the skinnier part. Right there, they're facing inward. You can see through my hands here, that's about how it's supposed to be looking. So this will be the right leg, this will be the left leg. All right. If you just got here, we're at step 7 right now. So we're just about to get started on that piece. Okay. So this is where it's going to get a little tricky, guys. So just try and stay with me here. This part is really difficult for me sometimes too. So I might be learning along with you here a little bit. So all we got to do here is we're going to look. So if we're looking at the body of the robot, where it says stem on the front, that second notch there that we did with the first part, well, let me see here. That second notch right here, this guy is going to be the guy that's pretty much his hip bone right there. That's going to be what's holding up his leg. So if you take a look here, we're going to take this top piece right there. We're just going to kind of start, how I do it is I go here, and then I just roll it around. And then that pin size hole that we had just a little bit a second ago, that metal part is going to go right through there. It's going to be kind of looking like that. So if I can show you just a little bit closer, it'll be kind of looking like this. Everybody can kind of see. You see how the metal rod's kind of poking out of that little pin size hole. And then if you look at the top there, the hip bone, what I call it of the robot right here, that's going to be pretty much what's holding that leg there. And you're going to see how we're going to hold these legs here together in just a second. So we're going to do the same exact thing we just did, but for in my case, it'll be the left leg. We're going to go up top here. And there we go. Look at that. Be careful. These little pieces might fall off, so just make sure you're watching. So we got this piece here and this piece here kind of sticking out from if you can take a look, these guys might fall off, so just put them right back on if they do. It's no big deal. And then we got it looking like that's the back side of it, and then here's the front side. So make sure those skinny parts are supposed to be facing inward. And make sure, I'm going to hold this kind of close here. See how the rod's kind of sticking out there for the motor? Little rotor right there, he's sticking out there. Everybody can kind of see it. I got the hip bone at the top. It's kind of where we're at right now, okay? So we just finished up step 7, and we're moving on to step 8. Take a look here. Yep, so all step 8 is saying is just to insert the axle in. So kind of, I already did that part for us a little bit. So now we got the axles already loaded in there on each side. So if you're with me, kind of trying to guide you through these steps a little bit because these steps can be really, really complicated if we're not careful. All right, so step 9. This is a pivotal point here, guys. This is the last hard part, and the rest of it, we got our bot. So if you're with me, try your best to follow along. If you get frustrated, I know this part can be really, really hard. So just bear with me here. It might take some small fingers for this because I definitely don't have that. So these are definitely a little bit harder, and this part is really hard for me. So if you guys are better at it than me, then hey, more power to you. So I'm going to have my legs and everything put together here. They'll just stay. I'm going to try and explain this as best as I can, but I know there's going to be some angry faces in here because this is a really, really tough part. So on step 9, we need piece B10. So it kind of looks like a W. You take a look at it here. This guy's right here. This part's tough, so just bear with me. This is what kind of holds the legs in place. So what we have to do is we have to insert this under, kind of like right under the end of that stem part right here. You have to insert this piece. So if you guys can see me, oh, piece fell off there. If you guys can see me, it's going to be going under right here, and you'll see there's a little opening, there's a little crease right there, about right. Let me use my pointer. Yeah, that'll be easier to see. There's a little crease about right there. You can kind of see it. It's like right there. That's where this W goes. This part's really difficult. So let's see if we can go ahead and do it. If one of those little edges fell off, just put them back on. It's no big deal. I might have a clear shot here. So we just insert this. And then when I'm done, I'll make sure to show everybody how it looks. That way you guys aren't too confused. Oh, I got a good one. Oh, I got on the first try. Okay, sweet. Makes my job a little bit easier. All right, so if you take a look at the bot now, you can kind of see mine's a little bit twisted because I'm doing this a little fast. But you can kind of see where that part went. So there's the part, it's kind of hooked up to the bottom, and if you take a look at the legs, now the legs kind of have like a guiding platform where it keeps the legs held together. That way they're not kind of flopping all over the place. So that's kind of what that little W there is for. So it helps keep that bot held together a little bit. Let me see if I can just kind of untwist this thing a little bit. I don't know why he's so, there we go. And that's kind of what that part is for. Just kind of helps keep that bot and the legs held together. You can kind of see it. So now when I wind it up a little bit, the legs are able to move and they're not kind of bouncing off of each other or flopping out the wrong way. You can kind of see it here. So it's looking like that. Kind of helps hold those legs into place. That's all that part's for. And that's what's the best part about this, is that way you can have a bot that can walk. You don't have to worry about the legs breaking. All right. So do you have any questions there? Anybody have any questions? I hope I'm kind of explaining this pretty well here. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. If you're following along, we just did step 9, so now we're moving on to step 10. This is the fun part. We're going to decorate it, make it look cool. So step 10, we need B13 and B12. So B13, if we look at our sheet here, we got to flip it over. B13 is going to be the 2 little red dots. You can kind of see them there. Those 2 little red dots. And then B12 is going to be this piece right there, the head. What we're going to do is just take these out. Oh, I missed a step here. I apologize, guys. Oh, no, we're on track. All we got to do is just pop these guys out, okay? We'll get his ears on, make him look cool. Did I just lose that piece? Luckily, I have some more. That's why you always bring 2 people. Always come prepared. All right. So this is a small fingers thing. This is a little bit harder for me. Some of you may do a lot better at it than I can. But all we gotta do is just put ears on like that on each side. All right, so now he's gonna kind of look like that. Everybody's following along here. Okay, so we just got the head done. Now we're gonna go to step 11, and that's another easy step. So we're gonna need piece B11, which is his neck. So we got this piece here, B11. If we're looking at our instruction sheet, B11 is going to be this bottom one here on the B sheet, right there. This part's pretty easy. All we got to do is just insert up the top. We got our piece. All it's going to do is this. Nothing to it. Everybody kind of look, we're getting this head built now. Everybody can see. If you're following along, this is where we're at. We're at step 11. And then we're going to go to 12. And all we got to do is that head that we just built of the robot. Take a look there. There he is. All he's got to do is now he just goes on top of that piece we just put on the top there. So now it'll look like that. Everybody can kind of see. It's kind of what he looks like. So we're almost done, guys. All we got to do is the arms. I think we're good to go. So that's kind of what it looks like. So if you're struggling, you can just follow along on the instructions. They're pretty self-explanatory. Sorry, I put his head on a little bit too high. That's probably more so what he looks like. There we go. Everybody can see. Make sure that we're doing good here. No questions. Anybody have any questions? I just want to make sure. All right, sounds like everybody's following along. Like I said, if you have a question, shoot me a message and we'll get you going backwards, get you back on track. All right, so pretty much it's the only piece we have left, and this is off of the A sheet, and it's just the two arms. So go ahead and pop those babies out. And then we got our little pick here. We just need to pick out the top of the arm. Okay. Okay. And now we got two arms here. Got the hole poked out. All right, this is pretty easy, guys. I think we're at the last step here. So get A14. So now you see up top, got them here. All you got to do is just hook the arm right there. I usually leave mine up, that way they're out of the way of the rotor. So, but you can put them down if you want. You can do whatever you want, however way you want to do it. It's your robot. I leave mine up, that way they're out of the way of the rotor, that way they don't get in the way. And you just stick the other arm on the other side. Yeah. Give me trouble now. So I leave mine up, kind of helps the robot work a little bit better. And then you just wind it up, and walks. And that is how you build a robot. So you can actually make them walk. You can kind of see there. So pretty fun stuff. I think that's it for me. Does anybody have any questions or comments or about Northrop or anything that I do? If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to try and take a look here. I hope I didn't miss anybody's questions. It's not looking like I did. Okay, taking a look here. Great, Erica got her robot working. Awesome. Great job, Erica. Let's see, does anybody else have a question? I'm trying to take a look here. No open questions at the time. All right, that looks good. I think we finished just right on time here, Joe. Oh, so I think I responded to America. That little piece, honestly, I've done this quite a few times, and almost every time it gets in the way, you can honestly take that off. I mean, your robot, it probably will move better without it. I don't know why they put that on there. That's a really good question because something I've been wondering. But every time I move the arm down, the arm would knock it off. and then when the leg would move, and I'm like, I think it's just for decoration, but it kind of gets in the way. That's why if you leave that on there, it's probably good just to have the arms kind of hanging up. Makes things a little bit easier. All right, Aiden, you got a lot of questions about this robot. What you got for me, man? Let me see if maybe
I'm stuck with my robot.
you stuck. What's going on, man?
It's not working properly. It just looks like it's not
The
working.
body of it started falling apart.
The body of it is falling apart.
Oh no. Well, let's take a look. If you look at mine here, you see maybe where something could be wrong, because I can't see your screen, sadly, but if you could tell me maybe where something's wrong, I could maybe point you in the right direction. You see mine, and maybe...
You see this piece
He
here?
can't see you.
You see? See?
He said he can't see now. He cannot
Look
see.
here. Look. These pieces aren't even snapped together.
Well, if I could see your screen, I'd maybe be able to help. I don't think they're going to let me see somebody else's screen, but...
Do you see the plate that says stand?
Yeah.
Do you see the plate that says
Wait.
unmute? Start video.
Okay.
Start.
There
So
you are.
now you can see me. Finally.
All right.
Just fell apart again.
Mm-hmm.
Golly. Seriously. This plate here, look. None of it's working. See, look. Here,
Okay.
here. No.
Let me see here. Okay. So let me see a little bit closer here, buddy.
And
Look
if the plate stays on, these pieces can't snap.
Can you flip it to the side for me? Kind of hold it up just a little bit higher. Yeah, I'm trying to see where your motor's at. So it looks like you might have your motor in the wrong spot there, big guy. So if you look at the instruction manual, you might want to just retry kind of steps 1 through 3. If you look at the instruction manual, and then make sure when you're looking at these steps, man, so make sure you line it up perfectly with how the picture's saying it's supposed to look, because this motor can be really, really difficult if you're not careful with it. And sometimes the motor gets flipped around. And I think from what I'm seeing, I've seen this happen quite a bit, is that motor is actually flipped around. So it's making it hard for you to put that piece on there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do if I was you is just follow back through steps 1, 2, and 3 right there. And then you should be able to get all that. And then start, you might just want to start, I hate to say it, start over just a little bit, kind of get that motor flipped around, and then see if you can line it up perfectly with how the pictures look. And when you do that, that way everything will kind of snap together, because what's really difficult about it is they don't really explain that you should really be following what the pictures are saying to do. So when you do that, I promise you that motor will be in the right spot, and then you'll be able to have a working robot, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You explained this quite well. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it does, but it can be really difficult. The details can be really a struggle. So, but you'll get it, man. I know you can do it. Does anybody else have any other questions?
And look.
Let's see here. America, oh, awesome. I'm glad the boys had fun with it. That's great. Okay. Joe, is there anything else that you'd like me to talk about or do before I head out here today? Okay, well, I think it's about time for me to head out. Guys, I really appreciate you coming. Let me see here. Looks like that might be all the questions. I'll stay on for a little bit longer. I have no problem. I got, so if anybody else has any other questions, get you kind of, if you need help getting something put together, or maybe you missed a piece, just let me know.
Hey, Jared, I don't know if you
Yes.
can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. This is Erica Hopkins. I just want to say great job. I agree with Aiden. You did an excellent job explaining each step of building the robot. So just wanted to say thank you so much and excellent job. Hopefully, Aiden, you can get that robot working. And anyway, just wanted to say thank you so much.
Absolutely. No, I enjoyed it. And hopefully this recording will be up for everybody to see, because I try my best to get in as much detail as possible, but I really appreciate the Huntsville Science Fair for giving me the opportunity to come out here and represent Northop Grumman. And I had a really great time teaching y'all today. And I hope, Aiden, I know you're going to figure out that robot, man. You got this, buddy. So if anybody else has any other questions, please just let me know. And like I think Joe just said here just a second ago that this video will be up for on demand. So if you're stuck on a piece or a step, go ahead and go back and watch the video again. And hopefully maybe something will a light bulb will kind of go up in your head and you'll be able to figure out that step that you're stuck on. So, but guys, thank you everybody so much for giving me the opportunity to come out here today. I had a great time teaching. So good luck and go Northrop, and great job at the science fair. You guys are doing great.